Mr. Fritz, good morning, and thank you very much for your time. First up, an overriding question, Sam, and I appreciate if you could just be brief in your response. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling very, very good. I feel elated. We have some form of security and stability back in Cape Town, and I'm feeling very good. I also feel very good coming out of the conference, the summit of yesterday and Saturday, where for the first time, I think, in the country, 3 different levels of government came together, and in fact 2 levels from a different political party, and really coming, in the Western Cape, of course, the Democratic Alliance is in charge, and really saying that we need to work in the best interest of the people in our province, that we must set aside all our other differences and focus and get solutions for the people in this province, and by extension for the people in the country. And I think that is really speaking very well to the willingness and the political will to collaboratively work with everyone, all government departments, communities, everyone working together to get a solution.
Can the people of the Cape Flats, for example, now look forward to less violence in their areas?
Yes, I think, the reports that we are receiving back from people and from communities, and where we have gone to indicate that people are really, there was some kind of lull this weekend with a few incidents, isolated incidences of shooting, but generally very, very quiet, very, very, people having the ability to walk to church again without being shot. Those kind of basic things that people want to do. And so as I said, we're very, very happy about it.
Can this last, though?
That's the most important part. So the stability and the stabilization, where the army would assist the police in just creating that stability, we as a provincial government led by Alan Winde here in the province gave the undertaking that we will make sure that we work with the national departments of social development, our National Department of Education, our National Department of Sports and Culture, that we work from our departments in all those gang areas, it's about 23 altogether, to really get issues like job creations through economic development, to create an atmosphere as a government, so that investors can come here, invest in township economy also. And I think that's the most important point. That is going to be the kind of sustainability of this intervention. And we need to take it seriously. And I'm telling you, really, the Premier here in the province, he personally attended the summit and gave that undertaking. The answer is collaboration, collaboration, collaboration.
Now, the role of the community is important in this. We've seen some of the violence and some of the drug dealing happening, for example, in schools in and around the Western Cape.
Yes, now in that regard, with the opening, just before the schools reopened, the Premier, Alan Winde, and myself met with the Mitchells Plain cluster of the community police forums. And we met at the Sunday night, somewhere in the country town. And what we've decided there and discussed was that we need to secure our kids and our learners when they go back to school, that they will go back to school in safety, that they will be able to go to school and learn. And so in that regard, we have deployed with the city of Cape Town at about 50 schools, 137 school resource officers. They are trained metro policemen. We also added some of the other our neighborhood watches to assist with that patrolling and in creating an environment around the school that is safe. And I want to say, you could see the results of that. Well, no incidences were reported to us for the last week. This coming week, it's going to continue. And we're going to also see in our adjustment budget in September, October, whether we can put more resources into getting more of these officers at more schools. And I think that's the way forward. Our learners must have the ability to be able to learn in a conducive environment where no drugs, nothing like that, will affect them. So the whole program of the school resource officers, in conjunction with the City of Cape Town, deals with getting those people who sell drugs around the school, arrest them, get convictions for them. But I think the important part is our learners and teachers can go into townships and be safe.
Now, overall, this program looks like it has already received the political will that you've mentioned in the beginning of the interview. There's collaboration at all levels of government, collaborations across party lines to make sure that the people of the Western Cape in those affected areas can finally, hopefully, be free from gang-related violence, illegal firearms use, and drug-related crimes. Now, it needs money. Who's funding this?
I want to say at this point, all our different departments, all our, from whether it's national, I mean, they funded the two-day, workshop and summit that we had. From this province, the Premier gave the undertaking that we will use the funds required to get a solution to the problem, and a sustainable solution. We also want to say we're investigating. One of the main issues is the availability of ammunition for these guns. Where do people get ammunition? So, I mean, there's a whole lot of investigations around the source of the ammunition, getting to gangs and into their hands. And, we see the havoc that creates. But I want to say, the political will, and I really want to say the Premier with all the ministers this weekend really displayed those political will, and that we, where we say, but now we don't have time to say, where's the money coming from? We need to look at what is in the best interest, what will have the biggest impact, so that we can have our people and our citizens. Remember, recently, we made a promise to them that we want to have a safe province in this country, and a safe country for everyone. We must now live to it, and I think in this government in the Western Cape, we've given that undertaking.
Mr. Fritz, for how long will the soldiers be on the streets? Do you know?
We actually don't want to give information on that because that's exactly the point of the element of surprise. Gangs, in many instances, they know the information before the time. So we actually don't want to say anything about the deployment of the army. We want to get them to be really shocked, those gangsters, and to really be dealt with. Okay. And I think that's the whole point of the whole deployment of them.
What will be the key milestones for you finally? What will be the key milestones for you by which you'll measure the success of this undertaking that you, national government, provincial government, local authorities, communities, the army and the police have agreed to collaborate on?
I think the one very, very real measurement is going back to the mortuary. Remember 2 weeks ago, we went on a Monday morning at 6 and 55 bodies were registered. We want to go back to that mortuary and see no bodies been registered or very few bodies been registered. In fact, one death is one too many. And I think that will be, to me, the most important measurement to say, guys, we are on the right track. We're reducing the death rate. Remember, we had more than 2,000 people since last November killed in this province. We want to see no people killed. And that's the most real, genuine, piece of evidence where you can see the death rate is not or 1 or I don't know. We don't even want one person dead. So, and I think that's going to be our measurement.
Thank you very much. Albert Fritz, the Community Safety MEC in the Western Cape, telling us there about the plans that have been undertaken following the crime summit in the Western Cape at local level, provincial level and national level. Looks like there's commitment across all, including the local communities, to stop the gang-related violence in the province.